So I'm the content strategist. That means I think of stories to tell about the product that show how valuable it is for customers in ways that are maybe not immediately geared towards sales, but more towards inspiration, more towards education on what we can do. So when a customer makes his first steps with Chili Publisher, we are often there to think about what they want to do. So their use cases are very different sometimes, and we kind of look at, okay, how can we use the product optimally to help this customer start? We'll roll that into the initial training. We'll actually roll that into the sales process when we do the initial proof of concepts for them. And it's really interesting for us as well, because we get to look very deeply into their process and their problem that they're trying to solve. And we learn about how we can leverage the product to fix their issues. So it's a very interesting period when you're talking from that first moment where you see a demo and a customer goes like, impressive technology, because it's highly technical, to what is now the absolute use case that is a working prototype of what we want to do, and then how do we scale that. So then we get the customer success team involved once the sale is handed off there, and they help the customer get the maximum use out of their product. The way we approach the market is kind of a hybrid form, right? So we do direct sales, but we also have an extensive partner network, and a lot of our interesting projects have gone through partners because they're already in-house with these brands that we're trying to reach. We often do things together because they have their expertise, and this could be product information management or media management or DAM. That's not our forte. We do one thing and one thing only, and that is the editor, right? So we like to partner up with them, often just to go to the market, to get the validation from an existing relationship, but also to tackle problems that we couldn't tackle alone. And these can be technical, but these can also be a little more business and political. For us to get a foot in the door with certain big brands, we're a small company out of Belgium with an aggressive growth track behind us, but we're still a company out of Belgium, right? So if you go to the top world brands, it's kind of good to go in with a friend, you know? So the initial round has been, I think, two and a half years now. And our initial investors were so happy with the results so far that they actually came back with more investment. So we didn't go to a new round. It's actually more like an extension of the first round. Yes. So we have quite an aggressive growth plan, and so far we've actually, we're tracking beautifully on our targets that we of course discuss with the board. It's a bit of a chicken and egg situation in the sense that you need the capital to grow, and you need to grow to get the capital, right? What we're doing now is we're getting the organization ready for scale. It's working beautifully. Our development team is getting things done that we couldn't dream of a couple of years ago. Our sales team is getting more exposure, so our footprint is getting bigger. We're really happy that we have the capital to do that at this point, and that not only that, in the years that we've now been running on this capital, we've actually got all the milestones. And there's a number of things happening that I can't speak about, but you'll see some interesting announcements very, very soon. We really believe in close relationships with partners. They've helped us in the past, we've helped them in the past. So we know that this is a relationship that has a lot of potential for developing the market, but more so than if we would do it ourselves. So these partners came in and they said, listen, we'd like to be a part of SPICYtalks. They'd been here before in previous editions as participants. So during the initial discussions, they went like, it'd be great if we could be like more of a formal part of this. And we went, now there's an idea. There's a number of companies here as partner that are active in the print industry, that's for sure. But what we do notice is as we grow as a company and as the project evolves, our market's kind of changing a little bit in the sense that, yes, we do a lot more stuff that's good for digital now, but that opens up a lot of doors for printers as well. I call it Print Plus. You can have a printer that has been a fulfillment partner for getting ink on paper that can now become a fulfillment partner for putting pixels on screens. If you have that kind of relationship as a printer, you've got a lot more leverage with your customers, and there's a lot more growth potential with your customers. So we're seeing that happening in the print. The print is extending its footprint. Instead of just living off the margins from getting the printed material done, And in the other system, we've seen in the other scenario, we've seen the bpost present, where they take the digital communication journey of the customer and they start plugging in print that with the same ease as sending an email. So it goes both ways, and I think both worlds are going to meet up more and more. There's going to be more overlap between print and digital. So yes, we have, in this edition, there are companies that are very, very big. We have Colruyt that has essentially their inside agency is the biggest agency in Belgium, right? So that's one end of the scale. But a brand like Airbus and the team that built their entire solution is really small. There's like a couple people in a room somewhere that had built this fantastic solution. So we're still covering the entire range of very small, very creative companies, 1-2 person companies, plus a couple of partners, all the way to the biggest enterprise level customers in the world. It's standard hosted architecture. The install script takes minutes to do. The update scripts take minutes to do. Like, the management of the system itself is really bog standard. If you've got a virtual machine somewhere, we're good to go. The marketing teams of people in the market that we're in are often huge. They're multiple times what we are. So we've got a digital marketer, we've got a programmer, we've got an events manager, we've got myself doing content, and Cindy, who's the CMO, and then Maya, who's the voice of the company, really, if you know her. For a team that small to have this impact, I think it's really quite spectacular. One customer I talked to yesterday compared our event to an event from a major dam vendor recently, and he said, "Well, who's your agency? How many people have done this?" I'm like, "Well, no, it was us. It was one guy, Robba, who's our events manager, who was driving the bus on this, and everybody just helped as much as they could." So to do this without an agency is quite spectacular. And actually, if you look at the reach and the numbers of traffic that we generate and the content usage and the content views that we get, for a small team this size to do this in 3 languages is really quite spectacular. Just to give you an example, there's a startup in Ghent that runs pretty much like just over our revenue. It's a different market, but their content team is 16 people, right? So just to give you an idea.